Hello, everyone. Grant Cohn, Jessie Naylor here for another episode of 49ers After Dark. I forgot how we build this one. Oh, yeah, Trey Lance. We're definitely going to talk about Trey Lance. He's the new guy. But we're going to save that one for now. Let's talk about the draft and some other things because Trey Lance may not even play this year. According to Jed York, he may not play until 2037. So let's talk about some of the other players. Who is your favorite pick or picks from this draft?
So I'm going to go a little out there. I actually like the Elijah Mitchell pick because you're talking about a guy who's 218 pounds, runs a 4.340, 4.33. And I just think of all the possibilities with a speedster who also has power in the backfield with Shanahan. I think that he's going to be an absolute monster for that team. And then being from Oregon and being an Oregon Duck fan, Diamador Lenoir. And I know a lot of people hated that pick. And I may be off on an island in this one, but for me, I think that he has great coverage skills. He definitely can fill that nickel role as K1 ages and moves on probably after this year. And I just feel like Lenoir is going to be a long-term starter for us. And for a guy that you got that late, I think that it's a steal.
Good call.
So now, obviously, Trey Lance, I mean, you know, I'm going to set him aside. I'm going to set him aside. So those two, for me, late round picks. I don't feel like we passed up anybody spectacular to get them instead. And so for me, those are the two guys that I really look at and liked a lot.
Yes, okay, so you went with the running back and the nickel back. I like that. I recently did a film breakdown of Trey Sherman with Jackhammer, and I feel like I fell in love more than I already was. So Trey Sermon's one. He's fantastic. He's faster than I realized. He's really good. He could have a big impact early on. But my favorite pick from this draft is Jalen Moore. The what is that? The 5th round pick.
Yeah,
that was a steal. He should have went before then. And everyone's saying, "Oh man, they're gonna move him to guard." Whoa, hold the phone. The guy played tight end. He looks pretty athletic. Let's see what he can do compared to Mike McGlinchey. I was resigned to the fact that the Niners were not going to draft or bring in any type of competition for Mike McGlinchey. They were just going to say, we like him, we believe in him, we hope, we wish, we think. And I didn't like that. And they didn't. They got a guy who could have went in round 3 or round 4.
Yeah.
Who's going to, I mean, he could push McGlinchey. He could slot in at guard. He could do all kind of stuff. I thought that was a great pick.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, again, we've set ourselves up to play bully ball, and I absolutely love it because when it seems like the rest of the division has caught up to us, they're zagging, we're zigging, and it's perfect. It's a beautiful game plan, all in one draft. And Shanahan knew that those teams couldn't possibly catch up because they only had like 3-4 picks each. So there is no way that they could, on the fly, adjust the way that we have, and I love it.
Yeah. So look, with Jalen Moore, he could end up being the starting left guard with Aaron Banks being the starting right guard or vice versa. Or Jalen Moore, if Mike McGlinchey's career keeps going the trajectory it was going last year, could end up being the starting right tackle down the line.
Yeah.
It's a very intriguing pick. I like that one a lot. Okay, well, why? Let's flip it the other way. Hold on. Johnny says, realistic expectations for Lance. He transitioned to the starting offense mid-season, and the Niners make a strong, deep run of the playoffs. That's exactly what Lamar Jackson did when he was 21.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't win, but he was the youngest quarterback ever to start a playoff game.
Right.
That's a good call. We're going to get to our realistic expectations, but thanks for sharing yours.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Now, let's look at it the other way. The least favorite pick of this draft for you.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with the player. I love the player, and you actually just mentioned him, but it's Trey Sermon. And it's not because I don't think that he can be a long-term starter for us. It's because we traded up to get him, and we waited so long to get corner. And a guy that I was super high on was Aaron Robinson. He went in the 3rd round. We could have traded up and gotten him.
True. Right
before we took our 2nd 3rd round pick, which was Ambry Thomas, we had Elijah. What's his name? Dude from Washington. What the heck's his name? Why am I blanking? Molden. Okay, so we had Molden go, and we had you're right. You're right. I don't know how you did that. And we had Melifonwu go, and I like both of those guys. So for me, it's just trading up to get Sermon. Again, I love the player. It's just I felt like we desperately needed a corner, and we didn't really address it with a guy that can be locked down on the outside, in my opinion. I think Ambry Thomas is a nice pick, but there were so many better options, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a really good call. I mean, I do like Trey Sermon, but I like Joe Williams. What is my track record? Also, what is Kyle Shanahan's track record of trading it for offensive players? I mean, that applies to Trey Lance too, but I don't think we really look at that being a Kyle Shanahan draft crush the way that Trey Sermon probably is.
Right.
So hopefully he's not the next Trent Taylor.
And I want to be clear too, because Sermon, the thing that I like about him is, so he ran a 4.58 40, which is exactly what Gore ran, interestingly enough. But if you look at his 10-yard split, which is the most important thing for a running back, he's in the 94th percentile in college football.
And he shows up on tape too.
Yeah, exactly. He plays a lot faster than what a 4.58 would tell you. And that's because those first 10 yards are the most important.
Those first 2-3 steps of his are explosive, and he outruns angles a lot.
Yeah.
He's a little like Deebo in that sense. People underestimate. Now, Debo's faster than him. People underestimate his speed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did I do my least favorite pick?
No,
I didn't do my least favorite pick. Okay. Who was I going to say? Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to be harsh here. I actually like most of these picks. And I was going to say Diamador Lenoir, but if you're an Oregon guy, but real quick, sell me on Diamador. Tell me why I shouldn't say Diamador right now. I'm 4.5 corner. I mean, a guy who runs a 4.5, 5.11. I mean, I'm skeptical. He can play nickel.
He can. And so here's what I'll say is he plays very headsy. If his back is turned to the ball, I feel like he tracks the ball very well, which is a problem for even some top tier corners. You look at Patrick Surtain coming out of this draft. He couldn't track the ball. Once his back was turned, he would get beat repeatedly. And that was the issue I had with him. Also, Lenoir doesn't really, what was that?
Also Akello.
Yeah. Akello Witherspoon's another one.
I tried with him. Hell of an athlete. Couldn't find the ball to save his life.
Absolutely. So I feel like
GPS. Sorry.
Listen, Akello's going to be pretty good in Seattle because I don't know what they put in the water there, but they teach DBs how to play ball there. Pete
Carroll's the best DB coach in the league.
They're one of the few teams that actually teach technique still, which a lot of teams do not. So I think he's going to be pretty good there, which is sad to see. But with that said, I feel like Diamador Lenoir tracks the ball well with his back turned to the ball, and he's just an instinctive player. He almost sat out this year. He was going to sit out because his stock was actually a lot higher than what he ended up being. And had he sat out, he probably would have been a 3rd round pick, but he decided that he wanted to play, and it may have hurt him a little bit, but that secondary didn't have Holland, and it didn't really have a lot of talent. He was kind of out there on an island and forced to make plays, and he did it whenever they needed it. So I actually like Lenoir a lot.
Okay, then I got to pick someone, and I'm actually enthusiastic about all these picks. I think I gave all these picks positive grades. So don't get bees in your bonnet, all right? But I'm going to say Talanoa Hufanga. Yes, the dude who was a first-team All-American. Yeah, I know he was a playmaker, hell of a player. He had a lot of injuries in college. Mm-hmm. He's a 200-pound strong safety, box safety. What could go wrong? I'm just a little out on these injury guys coming into the league. Mm-hmm. So if you press me and pick me to say who am I betting against to have a great career, the guy with the injuries, the guy who plays the physical position is a little too small for it. Him, but he could definitely prove me wrong. In which case, I hope he does.
He throws himself around like a missile, so he definitely can get hurt again, which would be tough to see. But he's not the fastest guy, but he plays extremely hard. He's very instinctive, and I think at the very least, early on, a great special teamer. I think he can be that. But yes, injury is definitely a concern, and we talked about it multiple times that those are the type of players they needed to stay away from. That said, a guy with that much talent that late, it's very low risk, high reward.
Michael Miller in here saying Marcus Peters ran a 4.5. How did that turn out? That's a good point. Now, Marcus Peters had like 15 interceptions or like 8 picks. And he was great. Yeah. No one's really calling Diamador Lenoir Marcus Peters.
No,
you can't just write him off because of his 40.
Right.
That's lazy. All right, let's grade real quick. Your grade for the entire draft. What did you think?
I'm going to give him a B+. So I think most people look at the draft and they give it an A. And if I'm looking at the players, I think that they had A talent. The issue I have is, one, we took 2 running backs, which I still,
2 running backs.
A lot of people are trying to sell me why, everybody's on a 1-year contract. I get that. But at this point, we have 6 running backs in that running back room. What are we doing? That's a lot, So that was a little iffy to me. And again, taking running back when we had a real pressing need at corner, that takes you down a notch for me. So for me, I'm going to give it a B+. Trey Lance ultimately is what's going to decide this draft long term. If he's great, which I expect him to be, in 3 years, we're going to say this draft was an A+. If he flops, which I highly doubt, then we're going to say it's a D or an F. It's just the way that it's going to work.
Yeah, right now, I mean, we could argue whether it's a B+ or an A-. I might err on A-, but as you said, like in 3 years from now, it's going to sound quaint to look back and be like, oh, no, it's all about Trey Lance and how he worked out and if he did, he did. So that's what it's going to be. But right now, I guess I'm a little bit more enthusiastic because although I'm with you on the cornerback thing, it's a real issue that they really added depth to, but not anyone that you feel can step in and start this year if Jason Verrett goes down.
Right.
I mean, maybe every time it's Cam, but maybe who knows?
Yeah.
My only thing is that I feel like you could argue the cornerback market, like there's a tier of corners and whatever the first or second tier dropped off after Tyson Campbell at 33. And whoever you like after that, you could say you like, Melifonwu or whoever, the Niners would be like, well, we kind of had them all in the same tier after that. Maybe they're wrong. Yeah. But maybe you might say that. That's the only thing. In which case, I give him a pass for waiting on corner. Because if you don't get one in the top 35, sometimes you just missed, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Jeremy says Bosa came in with bad knees, right? Yeah, look at him now.
Yeah, he just tore an ACL. What do you mean?
What's your point?
Are you trying? I mean, maybe you're trying to make the point for us. I'm not sure, but
I mean, he tore it up that 1 year. Eddie says $299. Hey, thanks, Eddie. I appreciate it. That was really nice of you. Okay, let's rank the teams in the NFC West. Well, why don't you rank the teams in the NFC West? I'm curious to see what you think.
So for me, okay, this is actually really hard to do because when you asked me this before the draft, you asked me about a month and a half ago, and I had the 49ers, I think, 3rd in the division.
Yeah, me too.
But we had such a good draft, and Seattle and the Rams had an absolutely horrible draft. Like, I honestly think I just did the NFC draft grades for my last show. I'm pretty sure that I had Seattle ranked last. I think I gave them.
Can you tell the viewers real quick what you didn't like about those 2 drafts?
Okay, so for me, the players aren't horrible for Seattle, but they reached for every single one of those guys. Trey Brown was a reach. Their receiver they took was an absolute reach. And they only had 3 picks. The guys that they wanted, they could have gotten later. And if they would have traded back a few spots and still gotten those players, they could have picked up more capital. To me, it seemed like it was rushed, like they weren't prepared. And I don't know if it was the Russell Wilson situation.
Your opinion.
I really didn't.
Those guys going to make an impact next year? Anyone?
Yeah, maybe Trey Brown is a special teamer just because he's extremely fast. But I don't know. I don't. I saw
that Arizona got Rondale Moore. I like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. That was.
So Arizona did okay, but or did they, in your opinion?
I thought Arizona. I thought actually Arizona did well, and they took the linebacker out of Tulsa, who I liked a ton. So I think that was a great pick. But as far as the Rams, you look at them again. They took 2 receivers. They have an offensive line that is
Tutu Atwell, who weighs 154 pounds.
Dude.
2
receivers. Yeah. No offensive linemen. And I don't know, but I'm pretty sure you have a left tackle that's like 38 years old. Why are you taking no offensive linemen?
Stafford gets hurt every year. He may not miss times, but he's always got a broken rib or a messed up shoulder or whatever.
Yep. Yeah. So I just didn't like what they did at all. And for me, that has to knock them down a peg. So I look at it. I still feel like we have the work for just 1 year. I love Trey Lance, but for just this 1 year, we have the worst quarterback in the division. Okay. So whether that's Jimmy or that's a rookie Trey Lance. But when I look at the rest of the positions, defensive line, I feel like we have the best defensive line top to bottom. Linebacker, I feel like we have the best linebacking core top to bottom. Secondary, I can argue we have the best secondary top to bottom. Then we go to offense. Offensive line, I think we have the best offensive line.
Hold on.
Go ahead. What's up?
Hold on. The Rams have Jalen Ramsey. So
they have the best player.
And that helps.
That does help. But they also lost a lot of depth. They lost their other starting corner and they lost a starting safety in the offseason.
That's true.
They didn't do a lot to replace
They lost John Johnson?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. And then did the Seahawks lost Griffin, right?
They lost Griffin and replaced him with Witherspoon. So
I mean, as long as Jason Verrett is healthy.
And think about it. I mean, Tart and Ward, Tart, Ward, Verrett, Akello. I mean, not Akello, but K'Wan Williams. Like top to bottom, we have the best secondary out of all those teams, in my opinion.
That's true.
Then we go to offensive line. I think we have the best offensive line in the division. I feel like we have the best passing weapons or receiving weapons in the division. When you add in Kittle, Deebo, Aiyuk, nobody has a tight end like we do.
A lot of bad offensive lines in this division.
There is a lot of bad offensive lines.
I mean, Seattle's is worse than the Niners. And
is there a good running back in the division?
Cam Akers was. I thought he was. Cam Akers was pretty good, but I mean, James Conner,
not good. Carson's okay.
Carson's taken. I feel like he's taken so many hits.
Yeah.
Man. It just obviously comes down to the Niners quarterback, but they're gonna have the best run game in the division.
Yep.
They have the best weapons in the division.
I feel like they do. I mean, they may obviously Seattle has Lockett and Metcalf. Okay. And Arizona has Hopkins and AJ Green.
They don't have a tight end.
None of them have a real solid tight end. We have George Kittle. It doesn't get much better than Kittle. And Dwelly. Don't forget about Dwelly. Yeah, we have Juszczyk.
Let's go.
We have Aiyuk. We have Deebo. Like, I'm just saying, top to bottom at all the position groups, I feel like we're arguably the best. And if we're not the best, we're second best.
I mean, look at how competitive this team was last year with CJ Beathard and Nick Mullins. No offense to either quarterback. I mean, CJ Beathard won. He beat Arizona. Okay, and he was competitive against Seattle. Mullins beat the Rams.
Yep.
I mean, who's to say this Jeremy Price's order isn't right there? I mean, I don't know if the Seahawks are going to fall all the way back. As long as they have Russell Wilson, they're good for 10 wins.
Yeah.
But who's to say the Niners aren't going to get 13 or 12 or 11?
Here's my thing. So I like where his head's at. For me, everybody's really high on the Rams. I think the Rams are much worse off than what a lot of people think.
Speak on it.
So the Rams, to me, lost Ebukam.
Yep.
They lost. Who did they trade
Bunch
to?
Of coaches.
Bunch of coaches.
Yep.
They lost. Who did they lose to the Lions? I can't remember. There's so many names going through my head right now with the draft and everything. But they lost a big player to the Lions.
Dudes off their defense, right?
Everybody. All the depth off their defense is gone. They're a 17-game season, one injury away from being absolutely decimated on defense. Right. Absolutely decimated. They have no depth at the O-line positions. I think they are in a world of hurt because injuries happen. They've been one of the luckier teams when it comes to injury. I think that luck ends this year, and it's going to be an issue for them.
So basically, Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey, that's it. That's the whole defense. Yeah. I feel you on that. Okay, I hear you. They got
no depth. So they've mismanaged their money now for going back to the Cooks trade.
Jared Goff, right? They're still
exactly. So I think the Rams are the worst team in this division when it's all said and done. Now, that said, 4 teams can make the playoffs.
See it.
4 teams can absolutely make the playoffs because you have 7 teams that make it now. So I wouldn't be shocked if that happens. But as far as this division goes, I think the Rams are the worst off. And Stafford, as much as I didn't like Fields because he held the ball, Stafford has the same issue. He holds the ball for a really, really long time. Go look at any game he's ever had. Go look at every season. He has plenty of pocket time, and he gets a ton of sacks because he likes big plays. And guess what? The Rams like to draw up big plays. I think that can be a disaster in the making. And with these D-lines in this division, Stafford could get banged up real quick.
And the reason people don't take the Cardinals that seriously is because of Cliff Kingsbury, but we don't really know that much about him. And that team, I mean, if AJ Green plays like he's still in his prime and JJ Watt has one more good year, that team's loaded. We're not really talking about that. And the reason they're loaded is because they don't spend any money on quarterbacks.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, all right, let's answer some questions. Devin says, I would really just love to see Shanahan with multiple winning seasons. A ring would be awesome, but string together some winning seasons, says Devin. Kyle Shanahan. Devin just spent $5 to say that he would like to see you have multiple winning seasons. So why don't you do it for Devin? He just spent $5. Thank you, Devin. I appreciate it. I'll pass it along.
Do it for Devin.
Do it for Devin. Multiple winning seasons. And he says, since we didn't draft a defensive lineman in the draft, do you think Niners are counting on D Ford to come back? What do you think?
Not necessarily. We just picked up Arden Key. That's another pass rusher off the edge. So
that's a really good point.
I think that if Ford comes back, it's just the cherry on top of the sundae. I don't think that they're counting on anything, to be honest with you. I really do not. I don't think you can count on it. I mean, this was a guy who came out last year in training camp and said he wanted to make it a point to play all 16 games, and he wanted to show that he could be a 3-down player. He made it 3 quarters.
Not funny.
Funny, not funny, right? Like,
let's count all the defensive ends the Niners have right now. Edge rushers, Nick Bosa,
Ebicom,
Samson Ebicom. Those are the top 2. Then you also got Arden Key, Jordan Willis.
Yep.
Alex Barrett. I mean, that's a bunch right there. And then you got Kentavious Street and Eric Armstead, who are like base ends. I mean, they don't. There's not like there's a spot in the rotation.
Is Deion Jordan still there?
I don't think he is. I think they let him go, I thought he was decent last year.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't see him on the depth chart over here. But Jordan Willis was good. I mean, if they get anything from D Ford, gravy. But I don't think they're expecting it.
I don't either.
Good question, though. Devin again says, I just want really $10 this time. I just want Shanahan to string together multiple winning seasons. Yes, a ring would be awesome, but just show us you can make the playoffs consistently.
Do it for Devin. He's $15 deep.
Hey man, you're putting this to the wrong channel, man. I don't work for Kyle. I will do my best to send this along to him, but man, you're really gonna have to send
Kyle listens to you though.
It's true though, he does.
This whole draft was perfect based off of what you've been telling him. You had a heart-to-heart with nobody watching, by the way, quality control meeting, and Shanahan listened to everything he said.
Devin, thank you. At the next quality control, I will pass this on. My bad. I was going to get to the other one. Don't think that I missed the $5 one. I was going to get to it. Lucid says, you think Shanahan saw all the teams in the division get all these expensive secondary pieces, Ramsey, Adams, and decided to double down the run game to neutralize them as much as possible?
It's possible. But at the same time, I also think he just looks at it and says, realistically, I have a rookie quarterback coming in.
That's what I think.
And we need to run the ball. I think that's more where his head's at. But to that point, it also nullifies a great corner. That's for sure.
Yeah. You have Jalen Ramsey. Great. You have Aaron Donald. Great. He's a hell of a pass rusher. We're running the ball. Thanks.
Yep.
Yes. No, I think
and we're going to run it right at you, by the way.
Oh, yeah. He's a little undersized with quickness. Mm-hmm. Boom. We got 330-pound Aaron Banks just leaning
ready to roll
all day, man.
Yep.
All day.
Yep.
Apparently, Kyle listens to you, so this is money well spent. Dude, I thank you, man. I appreciate
$20 deep.
I appreciate you, man. Yeah, I really do. Thank you very much. But you're right. He does listen.
Do it for Devin.
Do it for Devin. Isn't Melvin Ingram available? I like when you spelled that, too. That was very creative, like British almost. Should we go after him? Yeah. I mean, yeah. Let's be honest. Let's be clear. Melvin Ingram ain't that young, is he? How old is he?
It's like 33. I think he's 33.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Let's give Samson Ebicom. I want to see Samson Ebicom play.
Yeah, I do too.
Let's give
there's a reason why we paid him, quite frankly. So yeah. Melvin Ingram's pretty good though.
Yeah, he is really good. But Samson's 26. His best days might be ahead of him.
For sure.
Let's talk Lance. It's been 24 minutes. We've made the people wait. Realistic expectations for Trey Lance. What do you think they are?
All right. So I feel like Trey Lance is going to prove out to be the best quarterback on this roster. And a lot of people are saying, well, we should sit him for a year. I disagree with that. I think that first of all, he just sat for a year. he's got to play. And usually when you sit, it's for one reason and one reason only. You are not grasping the offense, right? You're not ready to get out there and call plays and be confident in it. Well, we learned throughout this whole process, that's what Lance does best. I mean, he's a mental processing champion. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. So those portions of his game that would normally hold you back when you're a rookie is not going to be an issue.
That's true.
Now, am I saying he should start day one? Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if we have a preseason.
I wouldn't take that off the table. I would not take that off the table.
No, I wouldn't
have to earn that. He would have to earn that.
Yes. He would.
Because I bet you a lot of these teammates are skeptical, man. A lot of these teammates like Jimmy.
Yeah.
They need to see it too. They need to see it.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. He absolutely has to earn it.
Yeah.
But with that said, I feel like with a preseason, a full training camp, all the mini camps, I feel like he could be ready week one. I really do. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but I would be shocked. And quite frankly, I would be a little disappointed if he doesn't play at least 6-7 games this season as the starter.
I think that's key. Because if he's not starting week one, he still needs to be playing. I mean, let's be real clear.
There's a difference. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, he's not developing by sitting on the bench, holding a clip.
Right.
You put him in for a series or two and you set him up for success. It's in the second quarter. You start at your 40-yard line. Nothing bad could go on. And you start creating positive experience that's what Bill Walsh did for Joe Montana and Steve.
Right.
So if it worked for him, I'm just doing the Bill Walsh playbook. I didn't invent this. I'm just trying to channel what Bill Walsh would do here. Obviously, if Trey Lance is ready, you play him.
Mm-hmm.
But what are realistic expectations for this kid? He's 20. He'll turn 21 in 4 days.
Yeah.
I remember Colin Kaepernick's first year, and people are very triggered by Colin Kaepernick, and they don't like his politics and stuff. He's really smart. Okay, he was an AP student. He was a 4.0 dude. He was a 38 on his 38 on the Wonder League. I don't know if I could do that.
Right.
Really smart. So retaining information, memorizing things was never an issue for him. But he wasn't ready to start as a rookie, and he sat for a year and a half, and that worked for him. Maybe he could have played earlier, but I remember him at his initial training camp. He was a pistol guy in college. He came here. He couldn't even get the ball from under center. Now, that's not going to be an issue for Trey Lance. He was under center in college, but little weird things could happen in camp where he's like, wow, this guy really is super young and he's not ready. I guess I don't expect it, but he'll have to show it.
Here's my thing. I feel like a lot of people pegged Mac Jones on Shanahan for what reason? Because
he's pro ready.
He's pro ready. He's most ready to start.
Yeah.
He has the same amount of starts as Lance. And guess what we learned throughout this process? Lance actually is the one with the higher football IQ than Mac Jones is.
Yep.
So if Mac was ready because of his football IQ in 17 games, why not Lance?
Yeah, I wouldn't bet against him. I'm just trying to think realistic expectations. I don't think it's realistic to expect a 21-year-old kid to learn the entire offense and be better at it than Jimmy by August.
Right.
That if he can, what an amazing story, and I wouldn't put it past him because this guy's special.
Right.
But to expect it, I think there's a reason that Kyle is already lowering expectations, being like, yo, he's not even ready to compete. He's just said that. And I think there's a reason he's saying that. It's not that he won't compete. It's he's like, look, we're in the teaching phase with Trey. He's 20. We're taking the long view here. He's technically our first round pick in 2023, and we don't want to ruin him before that. So before we give him the whole playbook and say, beat out Jimmy,
right?
We're going to give him a chapter and say, master this. And he will, and we'll see how long that takes him, and that determines how much more we'll give him. And he'll determine how quickly we accelerate his process. That's the way I think, the prudent, realistic way. He'll determine how quickly this goes.
I forget what the publication was, but it came out today that people around Trey Lance expect him to have the full grasp of that offense by the time training camp starts.
I hope he has that as a goal, man. I'd love to see him do it because I have a bottle of wine riding on this with my dad. I made a bet yesterday saying I think
did you
start week one, and now I'm over here being like, let's be patient. No, let's get him on the freaking field so I can get that bottle of wine. I think he can do it. I just feel like, man, he's still just 20. Let him prove that.
Is.
I'm not going to expect that from him. He's younger than Vish.
No, that's definitely who's Vish?
Who is this Vish kid?
Yeah. Listen, I don't expect it, but I'm just not putting it out of the realm of possibility. But I do expect at least 6 starts from this kid. I really do.
And let's remember, if they're following, everyone keeps pointing to the Patrick Mahomes thing. Well, how about Lamar Jackson?
Right.
Because Lamar Jackson was 21. I mean, that's how young he is, and Lance is, and Joe Flacco was that aging champion that had kind of some emotional ties to the team, and Garoppolo isn't a champion, but he's still been there, and the locker room's behind him.
Right.
Lamar Jackson became the starter after the bye week. Maybe that's what Trey Lance does too. You give Jimmy Garoppolo a chance one last chance to prove himself, and if they're 3-3, 3-4, well, Jimmy, you're not the future. You're not that good right now. We're gonna give it a shot.
Yeah,
that's what Baltimore did.
Now Herbert had a lot more starts in college.
Yes,
but
that's
look at the terrible situation he was thrown into. I mean, he didn't even know he was starting until about 30 minutes before a game, and he came out and played great. And I think it was against the defending Super Bowl champs. I'm pretty sure they were playing Kansas City that first start. Like, what a terrible situation to be thrown in, and he ended up playing great. So,
final point. I think whatever it is, you just want the first experience that he has to be positive.
Absolutely.
Like, you're not in a position where it's like, if you were a rebuilding team, be like, well, whatever, we're going to lose anyway. You go out and learn. Like, that's what Buffalo did with Josh Allen, and it was appropriate. But the Niners aren't that team. They're ready to win. They don't have first-round picks. So you don't just be like, hey, go out there and suck. It's okay. Sure. Like, if he's ready to be good, then absolutely. Don't hold him back. But they'll see it in practice. They'll all know when he's ready.
Yeah, they will. They will.
Yeah. And it could be fast. CJ Crucial says, I got faith in Aaron or Jalen. I mean, even school held Aaron Donald to 1 pressure and 1 tackle for loss first game. But it's possible that Daniel Brunskill is just no, it wasn't school. It was Brunskill. It's possible that Brunskill is just the greatest offensive lineman of all time. We don't really know that yet,
but it might prove out.
No, I think it's good if you run the ball at Aaron Donald. If you don't just drop back and throw, you can neutralize Aaron Donald. They know how to handle Aaron Donald.
Absolutely.
The jet sweeps, the quick throws, the running, the traps.
Yep.
They've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Devin, hey, what's up? I live in North Dakota. Fall and winter already suck enough. Give me something to look forward to.
I just said that we're the best team in the division. You should look forward to that.
Yeah, exactly. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with North Dakota? Johnny Ellis says, I'm going to double down on my earlier comment. Lance starts by midseason and they go deep into the playoffs. Jimmy G will be okay with it. Man, if Jimmy G's okay with it.
Listen, Jimmy G's not going to have a choice. Who cares if he's okay with it? Let's be honest.
Good point.
Gosh.
I object. Yeah, so did Blaine Gabbert. Are there any more? I think that's it. Let me just double check because people get no. Oh my God. I almost missed that one. Then I almost missed that one. Hold on. I'm gonna get this in order because people freak out. As they should.
They track you down on Twitter.
There's money on the line. All right. Johnny, we got you. Okay. Frederick says, I'm late, but I wanted to support you. I love your content. Let's pray for minimal injuries.
Yes.
Injuries. I wouldn't normally pray that, but since you paid me $4.99, I will definitely pray for minimal injuries. Definitely. See, I could be bought in all kind of ways. Monty says, do you guys think Warner secure his bag before the season starts? Yes. If he doesn't, God.
That's a tough one, honestly. I'm going to go no.
Oh, why?
I don't know why. I'm just going off of a gut feeling. I'm just going to say
you think they're
no.
going to make him play it out, or they're going to deal him?
No. I think he's going to be a part of this team, and I don't think they're fully going to make him play it out. But I think before the deadline, you know how they went at Trent Williams and wanted to secure him the way that they did. I feel like they're going to try to do the same thing with him and say, listen, just so you know, as soon as Jimmy's gone, we're going to have the money. We're going to pay you whatever you want, but we got to wait. And so I feel like this process is going to play out. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, to be frank, but I don't know. I also said we were going to pick Trey Lance, and Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be on the team Sunday. So we'll see.
I just don't think Warner steps on the field. I think he'd hold out. But then again, they fine you how much? $50,000 a day.
Yeah.
And you can't get the money back. So it's like, go ahead, dude. Do it for a week.
I'll say this. A, I don't think Warner's that type of player, but his agent definitely will encourage that. And B, I don't think the 49ers will let that happen. So if that's the situation that it's coming down to, they'll take care of him.
Okay. All right. I think they'll take care of him. All right. Let's get back to our regularly scheduled program. Niners still have cap space, moves to be made. They could get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. They have some flexibility. What do you think? more needs to be done to round out this roster.
Yeah, I still think that we need a slot receiver, and the perfect guy is Golden Tate. I mean, we're already talking about the first, second, third wave of free agency being gone. He's not going to take a lot of money to come to the team. You can give him some incentives, whatever you got to do, but I can't think of a more perfect veteran to help out these young receivers and be a safety blanket, quite frankly, other than him. I think Golden Tate is a perfect player for this offense. And then when I flip it to the defense, I'm still worried about that corner position. And the guy that I'm thinking
Richard
of,
Sherman. Don't say Richard Sherman. Don't say Richard Sherman. Don't say Richard Sherman. Sorry, what?
Poole.
Oh, okay, cool.
Poole from the Jets. So he's kind of been in the wasteland over there. A lot of people don't realize how good that he is. He's actually a pretty dang good player. And again, brings that veteran leadership. I believe he's only 28 years old. So he's under that 30 mark. And another cheap player. I mean, we've made it through multiple waves of free agency. He's still out there. And I think that he would be a great fit for this team. So bring in Poole, bring in Golden Tate, and let's have a lot of competition battles, because that's what I see happening with this team. And let's not forget that the roster size is 2 players bigger because of 17-game season. So we can keep more depth than what you would normally have going into the season.
I like the idea of signing a starting caliber corner and a starting caliber wide receiver, because, again, if Jason Verrett goes down, what happens to the season? You can't be in a position where one injury to an injury-prone player ruins the season, because there's a lot at stake. And Ambry Thomas has the traits to be a number 1 corner or starting. Well, what the hell is Ambry? We don't know what Ambry Thomas is. He's a rookie. Yeah. So hedge there and bring in a veteran. These guys are available. They're cheap. You have cap space. You named a good guy. And then on offense, I love Golden Tate. He's always been good. He's a hell of a slot receiver. He's good after the catch. He can do a lot of the stuff that Brandon Aiyuk and Deebo Samuel do. He could start in place of either one if they miss time. I think that's a phenomenal, perfect suggestion. Sign Golden Tate. What are you waiting for?
As your 4th option, talk about Yak. I mean, that's his whole career is built off Yak. So you've got the Yak brothers. Why don't we just add him right in? He's perfect for this offense. Absolutely perfect.
Does he still return punts? Or is he too old for that?
Maybe. I don't know. Aiyuk should, though.
Be worse than Trent Taylor. Yeah, Aiyuk should.
Dude, I don't. Yeah.
Dude. Michael says with Lance's intelligence, he should. Hold on. Reading. With Lance's intelligence said to be off the charts, is preseason all Lance need to gain experience reading NFL defenses?
I think he can read NFL defenses. I don't think that's going to be the issue. I think for him, it's just fitting in with the team.
Yeah.
Outright winning the starting spot.
Yeah.
And making sure that there's no issues on the team as it sits. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. But as far as reading NFL defenses, I mean, a story came out that as he was sitting his freshman year at North Dakota State, that a friend called him up at like midnight one night and asked him what he was doing. And he said he was watching NFL defensive film. Yeah. And they asked him why. Well, I'm trying to learn the defenses so that I can be as prepared as I need to be when I get to the next level. That was before
the Niners are going
to
3 first-round picks and a 3rd to move up to get me. I mean, stakes are real high right now. Maybe you can go out tonight, but I got the fate of 49ers nation on my shoulders.
He knew it 2 years early. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I grow up real fast around here, man. Yeah, I mean, all I'm saying is, look, Colin Kaepernick is real smart too. He was 23. He started for 4 years at Reno, and he needed a little time. If Lance needs a little time, don't write him off, is all I'm saying. Right. Don't write him off. Absolutely. He might need a little time. And Kyle might err on the conservative side just because he has a vet. I don't know.
There's going to be struggles. There's going to be struggles and growing pains. No matter what, no matter when he starts, there are going to be struggles. And it's just, you have to get used to it. But again, you can't bail because Peyton Manning struggled mightily. Andrew Luck struggled mightily. You look at Josh Allen, struggled big time. These things happen. If you're getting thrown out to the fire, you're going to get burnt a little bit. It's okay.
Do you have an opinion on the player the Niners signed recently from Mexico? I should have one. I just haven't done my research yet.
Yeah, I mean, he's gigantic.
He's tall.
He's gigantic, and he moves people. And it was a slick way to get an extra player on the roster because he's not from the USA. I thought that was cool. But no, I mean, listen, he's a flyer. What was the one kid, the defensive lineman that
Lawrence Okoye?
Yeah, there we go. Okoye. Remember, he was the athletic freak, and he was going to be so good. And
they tried him at D line. They tried him at O line. It's like not a football player.
Yeah.
Look here. I know that Botan was enthusiastic because he's big on the international football circuit. So let me ask him and get back to you on that one, Jordan. Sorry about that. I should do my own work. I'm going to ask Botan. Let me just do my work as a journalist and get back to you. Sorry about that. I'm like, hey, Jesse, you don't do this for a living. What do you think? Help me out. Johnny says, will Jalen Hurd make an impact? I'm sorry, I'm not feeling giggly tonight. Otherwise, the Jalen Hurd question might have got me. I hope Jalen Hurd does. I wish I could tell you some good news about Jalen Hurd. I wish there was something good to report, but it's been radio silence on that front. Who's the number one slot? How would you rank the depth at that spot right now?
I would probably go James.
Me too.
I would go James, and then I would probably go
Sanu,
yeah.
Benjamin isn't even a slot receiver. He's like a deep threat in 3 wide receiver sets.
He's not going to make this team.
Yeah.
I think we pay him $1 million, and it's like almost no penalty if we cut him. So he's probably not going to make the team, to be honest with you.
Jed, you can pay me $1 million, no penalty, and then cut me.
For sure.
I'm in. Please. All right. There's been some interviews recently. Let's talk about Niners in the media.
Yeah. Richard
Sherman, not really a Niner anymore, but apparently would like to be.
For sure.
When we last heard from him in Niners Ville, he was saying, look, they just can't afford me. It's the way it goes. They don't have much cap space. I'm expensive. Well, that's not the way it worked out. They got plenty of cap space, and he ain't so expensive. And he's saying he'd be ecstatic to come back. But he's got all kind of offers because he's Richard Sherman. What is your biggest takeaway from his interview?
I think, quite frankly, he's a little desperate, to be honest with you. I think that he came out and said he's going to play 2 more years, and the writing's on the wall that he might not get another year.
Yeah.
Just to be frank. Now, would I mind having Richard Sherman back?
No.
Under the pretense of he's competing for a starting position and he knows that.
Yeah.
I'll take him. But Richard Sherman's the type of guy that he's going to want to start, especially because he was just on this roster and he knows who's there and he thinks he's better than those guys. I don't want Richard Sherman under that circumstance. I just don't. I feel like we've turned into more of a man team, more of a cover 1, cover 2 man. And the moment we bring him on the field, it blows all that up. So if he wants to be a backup and he wants to come in, I know that he's worked with Diamador Lenoir. I'll take it. But if you expect to be the starter, I'm out.
Yeah. I know he's good in zone, but I don't think there's any defense in the league that just does zone anymore. Even all the Seattle teams switch it up. So it seems to me that I don't think he's a cornerback anymore. You can't play cornerback running a 4.8 or whatever he runs.
No.
So if he wants to have some longevity or extend his career, he needs to become a safety. And that's great. I mean, Eric Davis thinks he could have a Merton Hanks-like impact at free safety. Maybe that's right.
I do too. I think you would be a great free safety. I really do. You don't have to be a thumper.
You don't have to be fast. As you have your eyes on the play and you can read it early, fine. But I don't think the Niners need him or a safety. I think he can go try that somewhere else. So
I agree. And let's just be frank. If he goes to Seattle, I'm salivating if I'm Shanahan. I'm picking on him all day long.
Yeah, please go to Seattle, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Old man Sherman runs a 4.9. Correct yourself, Grant. Yeah. I think, I'm going to say something right now. If you gave me a month to get in shape, I'd run a faster 40 than Sherman. I could do it right now. I'm calling you out, Richard. If you come back on this team, I'm going to run a 40. I'm going to run a 40 one way or another. I got people trying to film it.
Can you do it? Can you do it in a suit like Rich Eisen?
Hell no. I'm going to take it seriously and run as fast as I really can. No.
You're going to get cleats and everything?
I'm going to get cleats and everything. Sherman, if you're coming back, I'm running a 40 just to put it on record that I'm faster than you.
I love it. I absolutely
I'm not even joking. I will get a time. I'm faster than you, Richard Sherman. You need to
Okay. All right.
The rule
You're
is
both
if
33.
Cohn is faster than you, you no longer can play corner in the NFL. That's the rule. You
You're
can play
both
safety.
33.
That's right. That's true. I think I'm like 2 months older than him, so it's fair.
Okay.
Now, I've never torn my Achilles, but I just might if I try to do this. So, biggest takeaway from Jimmy Garoppolo's recent interview. He's been all over the place. Couldn't hear from him. Now he's here saying, man, I am uniquely equipped to develop Trey Lance because Tom Brady showed me the ropes, and I'm just going to really make sure this guy is great and puts me out of a job. I'm just that good of a guy. What is your takeaway of Jimmy's recent interviews?
Well, I'm going to say it's impressive on two fronts. One, for the leadership and just showing he's a consummate pro. Being the first one to call Lance, as much as we dog on Jimmy, the way that he's handled this situation honestly couldn't be any better. And the other reason it's impressive is because this franchise, even in turmoil, is so lockstep. You have Shanahan coming out and correcting everything he said. Hey, listen, Jimmy's our guy. Lance isn't ready. You have Lynch echoing those sentiments. Then you have the owner in York coming out saying, listen, Jimmy could be our guy for 2 years. And then Jimmy comes out and says, hey, you know what? I'm just here to compete. I feel like it's my team. Every single one of them line up. It's impressive. It's absolutely impressive. But I don't know. I don't feel like he could have handled it any better. So praise to you, Jimmy. Hats off to you. But at the end of the day, none of it really matters.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just cynical. All of a sudden, he wants to speak publicly. So I'm like, okay, why? I'm not going around scheduling press conferences for myself. So why do you want to speak publicly right now? What are you trying to show? Like, you're trying to make yourself look good to the rest of the league. You're trying to get the hell out of here. So what he's saying is, oh man, I'm a team player. I love being with the 49ers. Like, they just drafted my replacement. I don't have hard feelings about it. Why would I? This is a business. I mean, Trey Lance is my brother. I love this guy. Like, no, I'm going to say all the right things and get the hell out of here, because the more I say the right things, the faster I escape. Right?
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
You
know what's funny to me?
Hey, teams, I'm a pro. Please get me out of here. I'm a pro. Yeah.
What's funny to me is every time they have these interview circuits, they always tie it to like a brand or something they're promoting. And like, that's their excuse, is like, well, I'm out here on behalf of XYZ, buy this product, donate to this product. I think it's a great thing, but you're out there to get your stuff out. So let's be realistic.
Yeah, absolutely. If Watson resolves his suit soon or during the summer, all 22 of them, would you trade Lance and Jimmy straight up for him?
Nope.
Would you trade Lance and Jimmy straight up for Aaron Rodgers?
No. Now, here's what I will say. If it was before the draft and I had an option of taking Lance and taking Aaron Rodgers or trading for Aaron Rodgers, I would have traded for Aaron Rodgers. There's no question about it. But now that you've already got Lance in the building, if you do that, talk about looking wishy-washy. You've already got everybody coming out and saying, well, Mac Jones was the guy. Yeah. It wasn't Lance. I don't buy it. Blah, blah, blah. Now you trade the guy that you just drafted that you've loved since January. No, that makes you look so lost as an organization. Absolutely cannot happen at this point. It's too late.
Pat says, Grant, when are you going to do a national TV gig? You're already more talented than most guys. Or are you wanting to stay close to Pops? Thank you. I swear I didn't pay this guy to do this. I don't know. I'm really not.
I'm looking it up right now.
Look, I like my job. If ESPN wants to hit me up and pay me $1 million, yeah, I'll do it. But I'm really happy. I get to live in the Bay. I get to do everything I want. I'm super happy. I don't feel like I need to be calling all these people and be like getting to the next step. I feel like I'm here. I don't know. I hear you, though. If they hit me up, I'll be like, yeah, probably.
Here's what's funny, and I know that people are trying to be very respectful when they say those things, but I think where media is going, and you look at national media, even they've gone to strictly Zoom calls, right? That's most of their business in today's era, today's game with COVID, what have you. You can write your own path, be your own boss, do your own thing, and do it the way that you want to do it with no bumps in the road. You don't have to answer to anybody. Quite frankly, if you can get big enough to be your own content creator forever, that's the way to do it.
That's what I think. And it's like, yeah, I guess the validation of being hired by ESPN would be amazing. I'm not saying it wouldn't. ESPN, if you're hitting it, hey, holler. I'm just saying, like, this life I got right now, I can't complain. I love it. So if this is the best that I get to, as Jews would say on Passover, Dayenu. That was enough. I heard Kyle watching this. I'm alive. Yeah, me too, man. He's never going to live that down. That was one of the most awkward gaffes. It's like, how did you think that was going to sound?
Yeah.
You said it, man. Love it, though. You really took a mighty cut at it.
I tried to read a lot of body language as well from Garoppolo, and he wasn't doing the sleeve tugs like he always does. You know how he's always just nervously.
Yeah, like leave him alone, dude. Stop.
Yeah, he wasn't doing any of that. He seemed very, very confident in what he was saying. And, so like I said, consummate pro.
Mark says, how you guys feel about Hufanga? Steal the draft, in my opinion. Yeah, we love him. Definitely don't go back about 20 minutes when we were talking about the worst picks from this. Don't check out that. We both thought he was fantastic. A lot of upside. Thank you for the donation. No, I was forced to pick my worst pick of the draft, and I picked him just because I like all the picks and he has injuries. It was a cop-out pick. Yeah, we like him. Talano, if you're watching, you're the best around. Raymond, what's up, Raymond? Nah, Grant, this is the new way, and you were perfecting it. Props. That's how I feel. Yep. I think so.
Yep.
I think so. Hold on. I missed it. David says, do we really need a top slot receiver? Juice and Dwelly should get more targets instead. Focus on good free agency. B. Yeah, Dwelly time. Can we get him like 35 catches next year? Can we get him some targets in the red zone? Do I have to start a petition? What do I got to do?
It's Dwelly time.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Last topic.
I don't think, listen, to answer his question too, I don't think it's a pressing need. Okay. I'm going to say that. But if there is one spot that we're weak, it's definitely that slot receiver spot. And we can almost bank that Deebo's going to miss a few games at this point. It just is what it is. So we need some good players at those positions.
No question. Do you think if Brandon Aiyuk outperforms Deebo, he is for sure the number one, or Niners are that ignorant to keep Deebo as number one because of his aggressiveness?
So I think Aiyuk is a number one receiver.
Yeah.
I think Deebo's the number one weapon, if that makes sense.
Plus, I think Kyle looks at him as like situations and like place on the field. Like they don't use Deebo in the red zone at all. So
unless it's an end around.
Yeah, Aiyuk took Kendrick Bourne's targets in the red zone. Like Aiyuk is definitely the number one receiver. And yes, Deebo is the number one weapon, but that's kind of because Jimmy can't throw the ball more than 5 yards down the field.
True. Very, very true.
So yeah, no, Aiyuk, I think if Trey Lance becomes the quarterback he's supposed to be, then Aiyuk is you're gonna see more and more of that because he has more potential than Deebo.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just as a pure receiver, sky's the limit for this kid. I really believe that.
Absolutely. I mean, just the wingspan is a big deal. It's always going to limit Deebo. Sam, he's got these little tiny arms, and Aiyuk has like double the size. All right, final 49er in the news. Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey went on to KNBR, which is the number one radio station out here in the Bay Area, and was asked a bunch of questions, big picture stuff about the Niners. And he's like, man, Jimmy's a hell of a quarterback. We win with Jimmy. Jimmy was 6 minutes away, and if this and if that, and we like Trey. Trey's good too, but Trey, it's coming. He only started one and one AA. He might not be ready. He had a lot to say. What was your big picture takeaway from Mike McGlinchey's interview?
Dude, okay, first of all, Staley would have never said those things. So if you're trying to be the leader of the team and you want that captain on your shoulder, that's not the way to do it, man. I mean, Lance is going to be the quarterback for the next 15 years. Mm-hmm. Comments like that, you might be gone in 15 months. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing that I thought. And the second thing that I thought was right before the draft, we had talked about what to do with Jimmy and why keeping Jimmy could be bad long-term for this team. This is it right here. If there's division in the locker room at all, a locker room that plays for each other, one of the best cultures in the whole NFL, it's a major issue. It's an absolute major issue. And if it comes down to it, even if you can't trade Jimmy, if it really becomes that big of an issue and you think Lance is the guy, you gotta get rid of him. It all means necessary.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like he's taking sides against Lance early on. Like he's like, hey, I'm a Jimmy guy. Look, I don't even read into it that far, even though you're right. This is what I think about McGlinchey. Like I've vowed to be nicer to him. I'm not even trying to be funny right now. I'm not trying to be funny. I vowed to be nicer to him. I took a lot of shots at him, and I'm beginning to feel like it was too much. Joe Staley made a comment like, yo, enough. So fine. Okay. And then he goes and puts himself in the news cycle. Why are you on the radio, Mike? You should be in the weight room. I'm not trying to be funny. When people talk to you and ask you about the quarterback situation, you should say that's not my concern. That's not my decision. I didn't play well enough last year. I need to work on me. That's all you say until you're a Pro Bowler and you can talk about things like that. I just don't get it. Why do you go on the radio and try to talk like John Lynch, like here's where our team's at and here's where our quarterback situation is? No, dude, you're the worst starter on the offense. And what you need to say is, yeah, man, I need to make sure that I don't get these guys hurt. I didn't play well enough last year.
Yeah.
Don't be on the radio. Stop doing interviews. Why the hell are you talking? Shut up.
The only appearance I want to see from you this summer is at Nathan's hot dog eating contest in July. That's it. Don't put on some weight, dude. Put on some weight, for God's sake.
He just makes it worse. I'm trying to tell you, man. You haven't earned the right to talk about the team like that. It's like if Javon Kinlaw went on KMBR and was like, man, I'm more of a Jimmy guy. Everyone would be like, who the hell is Javon? That's what is the same. Yeah, Javon's as good as you are, man. Yep. You don't have the right to talk like that. All you say is, no KMBR. I don't want to do this interview. No, I'm in the weight room. I'm lifting, man. Sorry. Maybe in 2 years. I'm telling you this for your own good, Mike. It's a really bad look. I don't think you're winning many fans anywhere with this stuff. I don't think Jimmy appreciates it. I don't think Trey appreciates it. I'm trying to help you, Mike, because I don't want to make fun of you anymore. And this is serious, dude. You're making yourself look bad. This is not your area to talk. Just lift. Just eat and lift. I'm serious.
He has really bad self-awareness. Dude. Like terrible self-awareness. He thinks he's so much better than what he is. I don't know, man.
He's the captain no one voted for, man. It's like, who put you in a position? Stop. Just worry about yourself because you're the worst player on that offensive line. You're talking about who played, and it's like you were the reason you stunk in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. Just as when we go back and watch Jimmy missing throws, who's in his lap? You, Mike.
Yep.
Just worry about yourself, man.
Yep.
I'm serious. All right.
Yep.
Jimmy wants that backup gig for 2024 to 2028. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. He was a backup for a long time. Brian Hoyer settled right back into that after a while. Devin, what's up, Devin? With Jimmy, none of our receivers have proven themselves, and with Jimmy, they will never be able to shine. That's why they traded up for Trey Lance. It's funny, all these vets coming out being like, Richard Sherman says it, and McGlinchey, like, Jimmy is just, people want him to fail. It's like his own organization traded 3 first-round picks for, don't give me that the media wants him to fail.
Yeah. How good is Brandon Aiyuk? He put up a better rookie season, in my opinion, than CeeDee Lamb in less games with way worse of a quarterback situation.
That's right. Mango says, what's up, Mango Slug? Who's the most underrated player in the roster?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go Emmanuel Mosley.
Oh, I like that.
I think Emmanuel Mosley deserves to be a starter in this league. And for some reason, he keeps getting pushed down like he shouldn't be. There was a back and forth with him and Akello. And now they're talking about possibly, I don't know, Sherman's at least talking about coming back. Give the man his credit. He deserves to start. He's a starter in this league. I think you give him some time, he can be a solid starter in this league. And stop messing around. Mosley should be a starter for this team no matter what.
Great call. 2 more undrafted free agents that I think are in the same exact boat. Ross Dwelly. And who else was I going to say? I guess Ross Dwelly. Is there another undrafted free agent that I'm missing here? Daniel Brunskill.
You go, Brunskill. Yeah,
Daniel Brunskill. I think that guy has shown that he has the potential to be a starter. I was going to say Richie James, but I don't really think he's a starting wide receiver in the NFL. Dwelly could be a starting tight end. I mean, if he was on a team that didn't have George Kittle, and Daniel Brunskill could be a starting guard. I'm not saying they'd be great starters, but I think they're starters.
There's not a lot of great tight ends in the league. Like,
no,
let's just be honest. There's 5 to 7 pretty dang good ones, a few great ones, and then 5 to 7 pretty good ones, and then after that it falls way off. Yeah, Dwelly could be a starter in this league for sure.
Ominous says McGlinchey's the worst player in the league, and if they keep him, he will get trade crushed. Mike, this is what they're saying about you, man. Stop talking about other players. Just go on the radio. If you do go on the radio, just reassure fans that you're eating a lot and lifting weights and doing everything you can to improve yourself. That'll make everyone feel a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, worst player in the league's very drastic.
That's
a little harsh. But he's the worst starter on this offense.
Yeah, that's
Jimmy included.
Yep. Monty says McGlinch in the clone zone must see TV. Come on, Grant. Hey, man. Well, I hope he's not in the booth that quick. I mean, he is very verbal, but he's only 27 or something. Sal says we need the old Grant rants back, calling McFloppy out. Yeah, I look, man. It's like I'm over here trying to be nice, man. I told you I wasn't going to say anything this offseason, and you put yourself on KMBR and talk about Jimmy. Like, God, man, you don't get it. You don't get it. I'm not trying to make fun of you anymore. I'm legitimately trying to tell you that that's a bad look, and no one on your team is going to appreciate that Mike McGlinchey spoke out of turn. You think Javon Kinlaw thinks he can do stuff like that? I'm sure he's sitting there like, what gives Mike the right? What did he do? What did he accomplish? I don't get it.
Nothing. And you're trying to be nice. It's like you've turned over a new leaf. I even said on Twitter, I said, bring back the old Grant. I've got 49er fan Grant. Like, what's the ransom?
Yeah, like enough. You get it. Like, I'm not going to just constantly I'm not trying to bully you. Right. But when you go on the radio like that, it's like, man, I legitimately have a problem with that. You're talking out of turn. It's disrespectful to your place on the team. You should just be acknowledging that you're the guy who should be fighting for his job, not Jimmy. Jimmy's a better quarterback than you are a right tackle. Stop talking about him. Talk about yourself.
Do you think the 49ers at all will allow you to ask a single question in a press conference to him?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he'll answer it. I mean, it'll be interesting. Look, I've been trying to be nice because I do want to go up to him when the locker room is open and shake his hand and be like, look, man, it's no hard feelings. And he's not going to shake my hand. I mean, that's not going to happen. No. But I want to at least try. And so I've been trying to, be a man of my word and say, Mike, I'm not going to ridicule you, and then not do it. And then, but then you do this, dude. I mean, come on. Bad. I didn't ask you to do this.
It's bad.
I'm done. Miguel, do the Niners have a better chance of making the playoffs with Lance or Jimmy G? And with what quarterback would the Niners have an easier time making the playoffs with? Well, that's $1 million question. I mean, that's what they're going to be trying to determine in training camp, and that's going to be what determines who plays.
Here's what I'll say. I'm gonna kind of dance around the question, but answer it at the same time. So I think if I have to choose one to start all year, I think we have an easier time because of the growing pains that Lance may have of making the playoffs with Jimmy. However, if we can get to the playoffs, we have more of a chance to win with Lance than we do Jimmy once we're there.
I see. Yeah. I mean, it was interesting. I keep going back to the Baltimore season because it seems kind of like a template. They started Joe Flacco for the same reason, playoff ready roster, rookie can't do it, team didn't go anywhere, brought in Lamar Jackson, they went on a run, got to the playoffs, lost. That's the way it goes. Yeah. But it's not like they would throw that away or that they did something right. They did it right. And I was talking to Vish the other day. He's like, well, maybe they should have had Lamar Jackson start week 1. Maybe he wasn't ready. We're not in those practices. We're not in those meetings. It's hard to say.
Yeah,
I respect John Harbaugh.
Absolutely, yeah.
Stewart says if Joe Montana and Steve Young can have a quarterback competition, Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance can have a quarterback competition.
Absolutely.
Walt thought competition made both players better.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Of course.
Hell yeah.
Of course.
I hope I get to watch it.
And we talked about it. There's a lot of depth on this team. We should have competition at a lot of positions. We have multiple offensive line spots, left guard, right guard, and quite frankly, right tackle should be open competitions. I feel like we should have open competitions all along that defensive line outside of Bosa, really, and probably Armstead because he gets paid way too much. And, yeah, I just feel like competition is great for this team. And we have we have a lot of positions that we're deep at. So let's just open up the competition across the board. Running back's another one. That third wide receiver spot's another one. There's a lot of positions on this team that should have competition, quarterback included.
I just keep going back to what Kyle said, that Trey isn't ready to compete. And it sounds, he never says anything like in ways that, in like a soft way. He's always like, Kyle, what are you saying? But I hear what he's saying. Like, the first concern is to teach him. Like, hey,
for
man,
sure.
Like, we're committed to you for the long haul. We're not going to throw you in there. And if you lose a competition, be like, well, he sucks. Get him the hell out of here. Like, no, we're going to teach you first. And when it is time for you to compete, we're going to make sure you freaking win. We're going to make sure you win. All right. But it's no pressure, and you're 21. And if it takes till you're 22, hey, so be it. You know, we got the go ahead from the owner. We're good. It's all good. Man. He's not going to fire us. He promised, because I wanted Mac Jones, and this was a condition of me taking. No, I'm just kidding. Twisted Ever says $10. Here you go. Thank you, man. That was very dope.
He's always in the chat. I love that guy.
I appreciate you, man. That's hella nice.
I feel like the comments from Shanahan is more of a under promise over deliver situation.
Exactly.
You know,
smart.
It is.
You don't want to be like, oh yeah, man, he's definitely competing this year, and then he loses, and you're like, what happened? He sucks. I don't know what to tell you. He was sink or swim. The dude sank. Like, I've never seen dude sink in my life.
Yeah, right.
You got to get rid of this dude. No,
you
Sam Boney says, last time
that's the Aaron Rodgers guy, I think.
Laughed at my statement, so I want to send you a shout.
That has to be the Aaron Rodgers guy. I think you're the Aaron Rodgers guy. Shout out to you.
Ultimate joke's on me. I wasn't laughing at you. Maybe I was. I was just delirious. I didn't mean to laugh at you.
If that was the Aaron Rodgers question, here's basically what happened. We got the really funny one about who the hell's giving Mac Jones $100 million. True. And then it led into the Kirk Cousins one, which was pretty funny as well. And then assuming that you're the one that came out with the Aaron Rodgers question, it's like at that point, it was all off the rails. Grant's like 5 shows deep. He starts laughing. I can't stop laughing. Yeah.
If that was the first one, I wouldn't have laughed. Like, it was actually a really good suggestion.
It was. And it almost played out the next day. It was brilliant.
It was amazing. The timing of that was just great. So, hey, joke's on me. Good stuff. Appreciate you. Yeah. Andrew says, what do you think about that new OT we picked up from the NFL International from Mexico? Alfredo Gutierrez, 6'9". I think he's more than 230. But I think he will take McGlinchey's spot. Watch. I hadn't even thought of that. That's another offensive tackle they brought in. God bless him, man.
Yeah.
And Mike, look what they're doing. Stop talking the radio, baby. Stop talking that radio, baby. It's not your friend. It's not your friend, man. Because those same people that have you on the radio will run you out of town if you struggle, man.
Yep.
Just say no.
The only issue is that 5th-year option, man. Gosh.
I just don't get it. I tried to tell them, but they only started listening to Quality Control like the last week. So,
well, they listened at the most important time. Let's be frank.
Yeah, really. We have one more, and then we're gonna go. Michael says, while McGlinchey is out there dividing the locker room, Juice has stated he supports whoever the 49ers start at quarterback. That's a perfect answer. Yeah, man. Mike, what are you doing? First of all, you shouldn't be talking. Second of all, what did you say, man? What are you thinking? Now you got to go back on the radio and be like, I misspoke. I didn't mean that. I listened and it just came out all wrong.
He really needs to retract that.
What is the stat line for Aiyuk with Lance as quarterback? Ooh.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go 2 years from now. So not this year, but next year. Let's assume that Lance plays a full season. He's got half a year under his belt. I'm gonna go 1450. Well, it's a 17-game season. Yeah, I'll go 1450 and 12 touchdowns.
I'm going to go 3,000 yards, 40 touchdowns because it's the Ditka of wide receivers. Hold on, they keep coming in. I'm over there. My wife's rustling in the background. Like, when are you going to come eat dinner with me? Titus, you're keeping me between me. It's your fault.
It's
my marriage falls apart. Titus, Kev, a week or so before the draft, and then the moment came. I couldn't help but think about how you called it the day of the trade. Great call.
He must have been talking to the last dude, maybe.
Yeah,
that called it.
That's true. Dude did call it though.
Yeah, he did.
Day of the trade. Sean, Lance sat behind Easton in college 1 year. Good as a pro? No. He would boom behind Jimmy, and Jimmy can stand forever behind our Bears. Easton Stick.
Yeah, Easton Stick. He did. Yeah.
He redshirted, right?
He did. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe he'll redshirt this year. I don't know. I just think if it was baseball, he would never play this dude. But it's football. Yeah. So as long as they don't set him up for failure, they're fine.
The difference is that he didn't play last year. I just don't think that you can sit him for 2 full years. So again, if he doesn't start, I like your idea. At least have some packages, whether it's red zone packages inside the 5, third down, something. You have to get him on the field in some capacity.
Hey, we all know that the fans are making the calls now. And if the fans vetoed Mac Jones, then the fans are going to veto Jimmy Garoppolo pretty quickly after like the 3rd interception. And it'll be trade time. So you guys are really in control now. Last one, and then I'm out. Sean the Marriage Crasher. Mwahaha. See, I told you, man. You guys. Appreciate it. All right, the show is over. Thank you so much for everything and everyone. Jesse, I kept you for an hour and 10. It's like really late in the East Coast. I don't know how late, but it's very late. So it's definitely dark over there. So
it is. Absolutely.
All right. We'll be back next week, same time on Jesse's channel. Make sure you subscribe to it.
So actually, we might not do my channel next week. I'll talk to you offline. It could be the week after. We'll talk. Right. But yes, subscribe. Last Second Sports. Subscribe. Don't forget to do that.
All right. See you guys. Oh, Newt Lab. I swear, man. Thanks for being appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Oh.